Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Midday Live. My name is Noble Crosbyan, and this afternoon, MP for Abuakwa South, Samuel Atachia, hopeful Committee of Parliament tasked with probing recent killings at Botiana will make proposals to enhance Ghana's laws. Also in the bulletin, inflation for May increases marginally to 42.2%, influenced by spike in food prices. In international news this afternoon, more than 100 people drowned after boat carrying them down the river Niger in southwestern Nigeria capsized. You're welcome to the program. We're still bringing you updates from the unfortunate happenings at Botiano here in Accra. Now, the MP for Abuakwa South, Samuel Atachia, is hopeful the Committee of Parliament tasked with probing recent police killings at Botiano will make proposals to enhance Ghana's laws. According to the police, the suspects had been causing fear among residents and homeowners in Botiano and nearby communities. Parliament on Tuesday tasked two communities and committees to probe the shooting incident. Abuakwa South legislator Samuel Atachia, whilst contributing to the matter, noted the police's own internal mechanisms are proving not to be enough in dealing with excesses by some of its personnel.
But I just want to emphasize the powers of the Committee of Parliament to go into such an investigation. And with your kind permission, if I may refer to Article 103(3) of the Constitution, committees of Parliament shall be charged with such functions, including the investigation and inquiry into the activities and administration of ministries and departments as Parliament may determine, and such investigation and inquiries may extend to proposals for legislation. And what is very important, to give meat to the powers of investigation of the Committee of Parliament, Article 103(6) is very important. A committee appointed under this article shall have the powers, rights, and privileges of the High Court or a justice of the High Court at a trial for enforcing the attendance of witnesses and examining them on oath, affirmation or otherwise, compelling the production of documents and issuing a commission or request to examine witnesses abroad and the rest of it. So the committees of Parliament has the powers of a High Court. So I am of the humble view that the maker of the statement is right on, and this is a matter the Committee of Defense and Interior can investigate, and they should investigate it. Honorable Speaker, the reason why it's important for a parliamentary investigation is that the police have their own internal mechanisms in dealing with wayward officers. They call it the service inquiry, where the police themselves will constitute a panel to embark upon some of these inquiries. Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit that have the time is self-serving. It's like you want to call upon one witch to expel another witch, by whatever powers is difficult to know. So the police service inquiries are not enough. But if it becomes a parliamentary inquiry, then they have a new set of individuals, members of Parliament, probing the matter. And that is when the members of Parliament can finger waywardness in the name of policing, and then deal with the officers who, by every calculation, may be responsible for unlawful killings of individuals. It is always the case that in their feverish attempt to go and arrest somebody, And that you find these deaths occurring and all the rest of it. But when they mount good intelligence, they will always prevent some of these situations.
So that is the latest concerning the Botiano shooting incident by the police service. Now we know that Parliament has also taken keen interest in this. Let's speak with our parliamentary correspondent, Komla Kluche, for some update on the way forward and the working timelines of this committee, if you like, set up by Parliament. Komla, thank you so much for joining us on Midday Live. This committee, take us through the composition.
The committee, there's the two committees, there's the Defense and Interior Committee and the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament, are supposed to delve into this matter and report back to the House at the close of this month of June. Now, the reason why the Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs has been co-opted, for want of a better word, into this is to look at the legalities involved. And if you're talking about the legalities involved, you know, in 2019, Parliament passed the Vigilantism and Related Offences Act 2019, which was assented.
Unfortunately, we might have lost connection to my colleague Komla Kluche. They're bringing us updates from Parliament. Now we know that a joint committee of the Defence and Interior, as well as the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament, has also been put together to investigate the Botiano killings that saw 5 persons unfortunately die from a shootout between themselves, according to the police and the police service. We've been able to reconnect to Komla Kluche. Komla, you were talking to us about the importance or the need of adding the Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament to the work of the Defence Committee. If you can hear us, brief us again, Komla. Right, I'll be getting to Komla pretty shortly and bring you details of the composition and the timelines of which they are expected to work with in the subsequent bulletins. But still in Parliament, the Health Committee of Parliament is warning of a spread of the deadly anthrax virus from the northern sector to the southern sector if government fails to take urgent steps in procuring vaccines and fumigating affected areas. Member of the Health Committee, Dr. Marquette Nwani, says the rate of spread is increasing in the north.
People are infected with anthrax. You have 9 of them dying. And that is the seriousness of the situation. I'll say that about 40 to 50% of the supply of animals to the slaughtering houses in Accra, Kumasi, etc., are coming from that end. And so we should not take it for granted. If in the north, yes, the animals are dying, when we don't take time and we get these animals to the southern sector, when they come in, they are just slaughtered and eaten. It means that we will have a lot of human cases when it gets to the southern sector. The spread, like I'm saying, it is at Binduri, it has gone to Boku municipality, some have been recorded in the Talensi district, Tempani, Garu, and Pusiga. Nabdam is very close by, even though we have not recorded a case yet. We seem not to be handling the situation very well. What is happening is that even though the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture through their veterinary services and the local government ministry have come in and they've put in some measures, it appears that they are not putting in enough resources to curtail this outbreak. We need to buy the vaccines to vaccinate the animals. We need to get to the root and identify where these animals were living and make sure that we disinfect the area or we fumigate the area. It is the way that we can stop the animal-to-animal transmission.
But we're still staying in Parliament, and we're engaging with my colleague Komla Kluche there a moment ago before, unfortunately, we lost connection with him. But we are establishing connection with Komla Kluche to brief us about the composition of the joint committees of Parliament to probe the Botiano killings. Komla, if you can hear me, you were talking to us about the composition and the work of the Constitutional, Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament adding to the Defence and Interior Committee of Parliament.
Sure. So like I was saying a short while ago, that in determining the composition of the two committees, we know that when it comes to the Defence and Interior, they have already, so to speak, established themselves regarding issues bordering on security. They have actually oversight responsibility over the activities of the security services. That's from the immigration to fire service to the police and also to the military. But on the issue of the constitutional, legal, and parliamentary affairs, who are the committee that looks at the legal issues that borders on the operations of the state institutions and all that. Now, if you recall, in 2019, the Vigilantism and Related Offences Act, which was passed by Parliament and assented by the President on the 23rd of August, looked at some of these offenses and the categorization of it, from the vigilantism to the landguard and all that. If you look at section 7 of it, which is the prohibition of activities of landguards, a person shall not directly or indirectly facilitate, organize, or promote the organization of landguards for the purpose of protecting or guarding land or property, whether belonging to that person or any other. Then 2, a person who contravenes subsection 1 commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a term of imprisonment of not less than 5 years and all. Now, the reason this particular vigilantism law would be applicable, for which reason the constitutional, legal, and parliamentary affairs has been added to this, is now the police have described these individuals as landguards. They need to establish beyond proof that these individuals who were unfortunately killed or engaged in a shootout allegedly by the police, they fall within this particular thing. It might not necessarily be enough that the police may just describe them as landguards. Now, the application of this would be by looking at the law and if it falls directly within. So the police, when they meet with the committee, they will have to put all of this into proper perspective. Some evidence might be adduced also, whether they are landguards or they are armed robbers or any other thing. It's the more reason why the Constitutional, Legal, and Parliamentary Affairs Committee has been added to look at the legalities of this.
Right.
And this, they say, should show the way forward regarding these activities. If you recall, what Atacha was saying just a short while ago indicates that it appears that the police have been a bit high-handed in their dealings. And so there's a need to set the proper legal interpretation, sometimes of their workings and the actions that the police take.
Komla, thank you so much for those updates from Parliament. Komla Kluche joined us from Parliament there on update on the Botiano killings. Now we know that 2 committees of Parliament have been put together to probe the conduct of the police and the allegations they made against the 5 victims that they were criminals and landguards in the Botiano community there. To the Ashanti region, where an equally sad news has happened. 3 school children, they have been burnt beyond recognition after a passenger vehicle they were traveling in caught fire. The kids were said to be returning from school when the accident happened at Hu, a farming community in the Amansi Central District of the Ashanti region. Ibrahim Abubakar is our correspondent who is following up on this unfortunate story. He's joining us for some updates on the situation. Ibrahim, a very sad morning there it is in the Ashanti region in the community. Tell us more.
It was not a very good day for residents of Hu and Ejinasi. In fact, these kids reside in Ejinasi, which is 5 kilometers away from Hu, but then they attend school in Hu. So yesterday, when they close from school, usually they have a school bus that conveys them to and from their destination. So yesterday around 4 p.m., when they were about going back to Genase, and their vehicle broke down, and this bus that caught fire was from Obuase. It got to who, it's a passenger 207, but it got to who, and passengers alighted, and it was left with only 2 passengers who were going to Genase. So the headmaster of the school and beginners education complex pleaded with the driver to transport these 6 children to Genase. Just when they joined the vehicle, in fact, they were even offloading some items, then the bus caught fire. Within some few minutes, it exploded. Now, when it caught fire, the 2 passengers on board managed to come out, and some residents also around joined hands to rescue the 6 kids who were in the bus. They managed to pull out 3 of them, but unfortunately, the other 3 lost their lives because the flames intensified. Apparently, the bus was carrying petroleum products in them. We had diesel and gallons of diesel and petrol that were on the carrier of the 207 bus, and others were also in the boot. He was transporting those items to a Genase when this unfortunate incident happened. So as we speak, officially 3 of the children have been benched beyond recognition, and the bus driver is also in the hands of the police, assisting them with investigation. And these kids are within the age bracket of 5 to 7.
So these 3 kids, they are all in the same school, I believe, Ibrahim.
Exactly, they all attend beginners education complex. In fact, there were 6 of them. The headmaster was saying 10 of these kids, usually from a Genase, come to school at full. But yesterday, only 6 of them were in school. So after their vehicle broke down, he decided to plead with the 207 driver to transport the remaining 6 to a Genase, and that's how this unfortunate incident. And even out of the 3 who died, 2 were related, and 1 was also with a different family.
So for the school and their colleagues in the school, how are they taking this development? What has the headmaster been saying concerning this?
Well, they are all down to spirit. In fact, today, because of the incident, most of the kids even didn't come to school. So it's kind of a free day for them. They are mourning their colleagues. And the headmaster himself is a bit distraught because he is also putting the blame on himself because he had to plead with the driver to transport these kids to a Genase. So for now, the police has come in. They've begun with investigation, and like I said, the driver is also assisting them in investigation. So now the child bodies have been deposited at the morgue. In fact, out of the 6 school children, 1 also was injured in the process of coming out. He sustained some burns, not that severe, and at the moment he is receiving treatment at the hospital.
How about the families of the affected children, Ibrahim?
Well, most of them, in fact, they are even yet to come to terms with what has happened. Some of them don't even want to believe that they have lost these kids, and it's mourning all over. They are unable to even speak to people because of the situation they find themselves in. So family, friends have come to them just to make sure that they console them and they look at the way forward.
Ibrahim, thank you so much for those updates from the Ashanti region there. Ibrahim Abubakar is my colleague who joined us from the Ashanti region. Back in the capital, a member of the Council of State, Sam Okujeto, has rubbished calls for the abolishing of the council, responding to such critics of the council on the sidelines of an IEA event to review the 1992 Constitution. The viewpoints of the media, he described the calls as coming from a place of ignorance.
States for reasons that it is not serving its purpose. In November last year, former President John Agyekum Kufuor waded into the debate, calling for it to be replaced with an upper chamber of parliament to serve as a check on what he referred to as excesses of democracy at an IEA event on reviewing the 1992 Constitution. A senior journalist and editor of the Daily Insight, Kwesi Pratt Jr., said the continuous existence of the Council of State is a waste of resources.
I'd like to state very, very simply that this institution is simply a patronage mechanism that produces very little value. It's a drain on our resources, and it should be abolished as quickly as possible.
However, a Council of State member, Sam Okujeto, disagreed.
If you don't know something, you ask. And many Ghanaians don't understand it. All they talk is that, oh, these people, they are there and they are collecting allowance. And I say, no, you don't get the picture. We are there to check the president continuously, to have dialogue with him, to question him, why is this so? This should be done this way, that should be done that way. And when we even need expertise, we go out and we call the experts to come to appear before us. And particularly, there are young people who are so ignorant, and yet they scream and they shout as if they know it all. Left to me alone, I will insist that every Ghanaian will study history as a compulsory subject.
The Council of State was instituted by the 1992 Constitution to serve as a council and an advisory body to the President on matters of governance.
So again, the importance or the relevance of the Council of State has re-emerged after several years of this conversation. We'll be delving into this subject in the subsequent bulletins and engaging some governance experts also on the back of this. But let's go back to an earlier story concerning anthrax. Now we know that the Health Committee of Parliament is warning of a spread of the deadly anthrax virus from the northern sector to the southern sector if government fails to take urgent steps in procuring vaccines and fumigating the affected areas. We know that the outbreak started in the Upper East region. Let's speak with Thomas Dunab Wunse, who is the Talensi District Chief Executive, a community where we're seeing a lot of the outbreak of the anthrax virus there. Thomas, thank you so much for joining us. Update us on the state of the fight against anthrax in your district.
Hello?
Can you hear me, Thomas?
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you.
So what I'm asking is what the state of the vaccination and the fumigation of all affected areas is. Generally, an update on the fight against the spread.
Yeah, the vaccination is still ongoing. And except that the first doses that we got, as of yesterday, we're left with, I think, 700 doses. The two of the communities have also recorded anthrax manifested in so it's getting intense in terms of wanting to vaccinate everywhere. Except that I spoke with my regional minister and he's contacting Accra to see if they can support with the vaccines. The ones the assembly bought were 8,000 doses, and that is left with just 700. And the way it's going, we think we should vaccinate all the animals in the district, in Talensi. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you only have about 700 doses remaining. Will that be enough, considering the targets that you set for yourself?
It wouldn't be enough. It wouldn't be enough. So we have to get out and look for funds to get more. I spoke with my regional minister, and he's also making contacts with Accra to see if they can provide a lot more vaccines for us.
Do you know the timelines where we're to expect these more vaccines?
I wouldn't know the timeline. We, as an assembly, the first case that showed, we purchased 8,000 doses, and that is what we'll be using in the communities that it showed. Yeah. So for now, the 700 that they had left would go to the second community that showed, and then the third community. So I'm sure the 700 could suffice for those two communities. But we still need to get more. Yeah.
Clearly, the spread of the virus is getting worse. Talk to us about the numbers in the district.
Not necessarily worse, but it showed in two other communities. In those two communities, each place had a sheep dying, and the confirmation is that it's anthrax. It's not widespread. After those days, we haven't seen any more animals dying again. No. But that is why we need to move quickly to vaccinate all the animals. Yeah.
Briefly before you go, Thomas, we know that a festival for our Muslim brothers is fast approaching. How are they receiving this development concerning the spread of the disease and, if you like, some impending shortfall in the vaccines ahead of the festival that will see a lot of them consuming a lot of animal and meat products?
Yeah, I believe that the ICC would get the Muslim leadership to a meeting, and a major decision will be taken as to what they should do. So for now, no such meeting has taken place yet, but I know that meeting will take place.
Thomas, I thank you so much.
Until that is done, we wouldn't know how they will go about it.
Thomas Dunab is the District Chief Executive for the Talensi District, speaking with us there. Away from that subject, the Graphic Communication Group is digitalizing its archives and has opened its doors to organizations looking to digitize their records and archives. The Information Minister, Kojo Nkrumah, while on a visit to urge other state agencies to adopt the Digital and Archive Center initiative. The Graphic Communications Group, since its inception in 1950, has preserved and archived its publications and other records manually. The company has gone a step further to digitize all of its records and the processes using science and technology.
And I think the kind of work that has been done with your technical partners, TechGulf, has been impressive, and with about 90% of the work done. I'm excited to see how the upload is going and how easy it is to also be able to reference and download for research purposes, academic purposes, or for personal use.
The Minister of Information, Kojo Nkrumah, lauded the effort, urging other government agencies to follow suit.
I think what Graphic has shown is something that can be a very strong learning platform for all of the other agencies within government.
Managing Director Atuafo highlighted several advantages.
Interestingly, the original founding company, which was a private company owned by a certain Englishman, Cecil King, also had a business in Nigeria. So there are publications in here from Nigeria that probably Nigerians may not even have, that we have as part of this digital initiative. It's also a setup that is also transportable. We can easily deploy this to any partner's premises and help them to achieve that which they need to do at the digitalization level for a small consideration or a certain partner understanding. But we are very happy to do that.
The public will be able to use the digital archive for both free and paid purposes by the end of this month. You're watching Midday Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby, and I'll bring you more news, but after this break, stay with us.
Going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Pepsodent is aware that globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. That's why by giving her Pepsodent, you're not only protecting her teeth, but also helping her grow up and thrive at every stage of her life with a healthy and confident smile, so she can succeed and achieve all of her dreams. Because every smile matters.
Africa is the cradle of civilization, where leaders of men, kings and queens helped build and shape the world we know today. Since the beginning of time, money and goods have moved freely across this great continent until they were interrupted by borders, arbitrary and man-made. Thanks to hard-fought freedoms, digital advancement, and human ingenuity, a new day is dawning where money and goods can once again move across these vast lands unencumbered, opening Africa up to movement, progress, and opportunity. Don't let borders limit you. Transfer and receive money quickly, easily, affordably. ZPay, building a borderless Africa.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Just na me ankasa me period na say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa just na nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me mogam no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro a me fire no ene ma won kura me enu kofro kwa na me coin mu a eba head everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama nu a ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato. Hello hey ohwehwe what che okay a free bra wo di end point what dance am me call you no me Johnson se man enkoyie e paso na my emre nyina na magina sabema na me be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
Ura musana eshi ano eshi metwe anopa awia imle even kwa mache kwa na timi so letwe.
The glue that sticks things together is now tearing lives apart.
No more sheening in our it's in Equitano.
A big trouble in a small tube.
We are training over 12 years. Until I'm 19 years.
It's a story of how young men are wasting their lives away, addicted to sniffing glue.
The government is not paying attention anywhere because I don't see anywhere in Ghana that the youth are finding jobs to do. So it's a general bad governance issue.
For them, it is a cheaper alternative to hard drugs. Experts are worried about its life-threatening consequences.
I decided to track them down to this particular place.
Godwin Asediba, in High on Glue, visits some communities and reveals the canker robbing the lives of many Ghanaian youth. High on Glue airs on Wednesday, June 21 on TV3 at 9 p.m. and across our social media platforms.
It's time to pause from the tight schedules and deadlines, escape from the traffic after work, let down our hair and unwind. It's 3FM Corporate Connect. Join us on the 16th of June for the biggest outdoor corporate hangouts to de-stress, unwind, and network. Come mingle with CEOs, top business executives, entrepreneurs, and like-minded people at the most exciting corporate networking event in Accra. The 3FM Corporate Connect, powered by Origin, with fan corporate games, tasty grills over chilled, refreshing drinks, live band action, and non-stop jam by seasoned DJs and guest artists. Join us for the 3FM Corporate Connect, happening on Friday, the 16th of June at the Gold Coast Restaurant from 5 p.m. For more inquiries and sponsorship, please call 0244 405 027. All roads lead to the Gold Coast Restaurant after work on 16th of June 2023 for the 3FM Corporate Connect. Party starts at 5 p.m. sharp. 3FM Corporate Connect, unwind and network, powered by 92.73 FM and supported by TV3 and sponsored by Origin.
We gon' celebrate.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Manuel Full is here for the latest in business. Manu Diothi.
Thank you, Crosby. Welcome to the business segment. My name is Minua Full. Let's start with the conversation about inflation, as the general prices of goods and services have increased marginally by about 1%. This is because year-on-year inflation for the month of May increased to 42.2% from 41.2% recorded in April this year. According to government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna Enim, the marginal increase was influenced by a spike in food inflation for the period under review.
All four divisions recorded rates of inflation higher than the national rate of inflation. On a month-on-month basis, keeping in mind that the national month-on-month rate of inflation was 4.8 for the month of May 2023, we again identified 5 divisions that recorded rates of inflation higher than the national average. This was led by personal care, social protection, and miscellaneous items that recorded the highest divisional month-on-month inflation of 7.0%. We turn away from the levels of inflation and from the 13 divisions point of view, identify the divisions that are contributing the most to the rate of inflation that was recorded for the month of May 2023. Across the 13 divisions, top 3 items, namely food and non-alcoholic beverages, housing, water, electricity and gas, and transport, almost contributed 3/4 to the overall inflation, with food and non-alcoholic beverages contributing more than 50% to the rate of inflation that was recorded in May 2023.
Now let's take our attention to local production, as local manufacturers in the country are calling on government to regulate the importation of products which can be manufactured locally. According to them, this is crucial in reviving the country's economy amid an IMF program while reducing the country's demand for forex. Michael Ogbudu has the rest of the story.
Ghana's economy is a heavily import-dependent one, with many of its exports in their raw states. This is partly due to an underdeveloped manufacturing sector coupled with a preference for foreign products. But for the intervention of an IMF program, the country would have ended the year 3 weeks shy of import reserves. Some SMEs who spoke to 3 Business believe that regulating the importation of goods with local substitutes is instrumental to improving the country's economic fortunes.
Imagine the government, says that let's regulate the fact that certain cosmetic shouldn't come into the country. Let's just buy made in Ghana cosmetic products. I think we won't be competing with these people. And in as much as, yes, some people say, the made in Ghana parts are quite expensive. Simply because of the packaging. We import most of our packaging materials, and that's what makes the products expensive.
If there are to be a ban on importation of cereals, then these type of products will provide economic power for those women and their children. So in that case, a young man in the local community knows that if I'm farming, working on fonio, I know that it is ending up on a shop, on someone's table at home, you know. So that is some of the importance. And also provide job opportunities for people like us, because the company, this Agromess company, has provided work for me and also my colleagues.
It will mean a lot to us because local industries are struggling in terms of competing with these other foreign products. So government can help us by regulating or giving us some incentives and maybe tax reliefs that can also boost our capacity to produce to match the local markets over here and even compete on the international market, because local industries such as ours is doing so well. So the little push from government is going to help us a lot to produce enough and also to motivate us to do more beyond what we are doing.
In more business stories, the Bank of Ghana has threatened to take action against unlicensed entities that provide loans to the public. This follows the publication of over 90 companies who, according to the central bank, are unlicensed to engage in lending activities. In a statement issued by the regulator, it warned the public to desist from doing business with any such entity.
The regulator said it has observed the persistent operation of unlicensed entities that are engaged in the provision of loans through mobile applications to the Ghanaian public. This, according to the regulator, is in contravention of the Banks and Specialized Deposit Taking Institution Act 2016. The Bank of Ghana named over 90 such entities engaged in what it termed as unlicensed business. The Bank of Ghana further states that such activities significantly breach customer data and privacy laws, as well as consumer protection requirements and norms, with unfavorable implications on the integrity and well-being of their patrons. The Bank of Ghana says it will continue to take action against such entities in collaboration with relevant state agencies to promote the integrity and financial service delivery.
Away from that, a savings and investments analyst, Patrick Abankwaba, says merging all accounts of government institutions into a single account at Bank of Ghana could provide liquidity challenge for local banks. By year-end, accounts of all ministries, departments, agencies and statutory funds are to be moved to a single treasury account. This plan was contained in Ghana's economic program sent to the IMF as part of expected treasury reforms that government will undertake under the 3-year program.
A fully implemented treasury single account program is expected to merge all accounts of all government institutions into a single account at Bank of Ghana.
By government consolidating its accounts, it will be able to have better control over its funds and also improve the fiscal management of the funds in the country. It will lead to efficient government spending and possibly increase public confidence in the government's financial management process. Again, if this particular process is implemented well, it can also improve the visibility and control over cash. Government will have more control over its own cash because every fund that government is receiving is going through one account. And if that is also implemented and done well, it will reduce government borrowing when it comes to the local market.
A savings and investment analyst, Patrick Abankwaba, thinks the program could affect the profitability of local banks.
It means that funds that ordinarily government agencies would have channeled through the local banks, but the banks use by way of liquidity and also lend to other customers, they will not have access to those funds. And we are talking of huge amounts of cedis that these local banks are going to lose. And its impact is both on the liquidity side and also on the profitability side.
The program is expected to ensure restructuring of Ghana's high debts and push the country back to sustainable levels.
And that's how we wrap up the business segment here on Midday Live. My name is Minu Afo. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Do stay with us.
To splash this summer at the hottest event of the season. It's the Date Rush Pool Party, coming to you live on Saturday, 8th July at the breathtaking Pleasant Gardens, Jolu. Get ready to groove to the infectious beats of the sensational Dope Nation, the energetic prince of the street, LaRusso, the fast-rising TV3 Mentor X winner, DSL, who will be setting the stage on fire, along with the baddest DJs, DJ Faculty, DJ Yabiam, DJ Phil, and more. So put on your trendiest swimwear, grab your friends, and dive into an epic celebration of summer. Remember, it's Saturday, 8th July at the stunning Pleasant Gardens, Jolu. Doors open at 3 p.m. Don't miss out on this unforgettable experience. Tickets are going for a cool 50 Ghana cedis. For tickets, dial *71 3*33*25#. To purchase or make a reservation, call 0244-405027. Date Rush Pool Party, the summer event you don't want to miss.
Ura musana eshi anoshi metwe anopa awia imle even kra ma chekra na tim so letwe.
The glue that sticks things together is now tearing lives apart.
No more shame in our it's in
A big trouble in a small tube.
I'm 12 years. Until I'm 19 years.
It's a story of how young men are wasting their lives away, addicted to sniffing glue.
The government is not paying attention anywhere because I don't see anywhere in Ghana that the youth are finding jobs to do. So it's a general bad governance issue.
For them, it is a cheaper alternative to hard drugs. Experts are worried about its life-threatening consequences.
I decided to track them down to this particular place.
Godwin Asediba, in High on Glue, visits some communities and reveals the canker robbing the lives of many Ghanaian youth. High on Glue airs on Wednesday, June 21 on TV3 at 9 p.m. and across our social media platforms.
The TV3 and 3FM Great Expedition is here again. It's much bigger and exciting this time. Experience the breathtaking view of the ever-scenic Kafajato and the spectacular Wuli waterfall. Let's uncover the excitement around these mystical and extraordinary sceneries. Happening on Republic Day, Saturday, 1st July 2023. Come, let's make memories on Republic Day with the Republic Day Reloaded. We head to Kafajato as we hike to the summit. We visit the Wuli waterfall. And then we have a dinner and party at the Bamboo River Resort. This package includes transportation, breakfast, snacks, dinner, music on rotation, plus the whole experience, all for 650 Ghana cedis. For reservation, call 0541 159 715 or 0554 049 778. The TV3 3FM Republic Day Expedition. You don't want to miss this.
Welcome back. It's time for sport. Uriel Kwampafo is here for the latest in their world. Uriel, take us away.
Well, thank you very much. We'll be starting off from the camp of the Black Stars, who are getting ready to face Madagascar on Sunday in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifier. The team needs only a victory to book a place at the Continental Showpiece in Ivory Coast next year. And head coach Chris Houghton is confident that the team has what it takes.
First and foremost, whenever they get together, they're all good friends. Some of them go back a long way, but they don't, of course, can't see each other over a period of time. So generally the morale is very good. But then, of course, what happens very shortly after that is the morale is good, they arrive, they're good to see each other, but it then becomes the concentrated work of a football match and winning a football match. So I've always found the players responsible, always found the players dedicated to the training that they do, and of course desperate to represent the Black Stars and to win a game. And we know, of course, the next game for us is an important one that would see us gain qualification.
Well, Ghana would continue training today before they jet off to Madagascar on Thursday for the game, which is on Sunday. Let's do some more here and focus on the transfer window because Real Madrid have completed the signing of England midfielder Jude Bellingham from Borussia Dortmund on a 6-year deal. Jude Bellingham becomes the most expensive English player of all time after signing for 115 million euros. He's also now a Real Madrid's second record signing after Eden Hazard. We stay in Madrid because developments coming from there is that Brazil will play Spain in a friendly in March 2024 as part of an anti-racism campaign in support of Real Madrid winger Vinicius Jr. The game will be played at the Bernabeu, which is the home of the Brazilian winger, his club side, Real Madrid. Now, Vinicius was in Spain while playing for Real in the past campaign. Oh, do more here, where French star Kylian Mbappe told Paris Saint-Germain on Monday he would not be taking up an option to extend his contract beyond the year 2024. Now, that opens the door to the 24-year-old's possible exit from Parc des Princes during the summer transfer window. Patrick Hulad unfolds current happenings in the French capital.
Player, Kylian Mbappe, but would try to find a new star to be the new leader of the PSG, because you know that PSG is a players club, not a club that is built upon a coach or manager, but a club built upon some star players. Yes, we could see PSG sell Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid because they need to make money on Mbappe if he doesn't renew his contract, so it would be the last chance this summer to sell him. Also, if you sell your best player to the best club in the world, which is in Europe at least, which is Real Madrid, it means that you're a club that counts. You're one of the leading clubs in the market, and you know, Qatar likes prestige, so it would bring some prestige to them.
To some disturbing news where 9 people have been injured in a mass shooting in Denver, Colorado. 3 of the victims are in critical condition, police said in a Twitter post, while the others have non-life-threatening injuries. They added that a suspect was also shot and was in police custody. The shooting happened on Market Street, close to the ball arena, where the city's basketball team, the Denver Nuggets, won their first ever NBA championship on Monday night. Well, that's how we wrap up the sports segment here on Midday Live. My name is Ore Kwampofo. Up next on the bulletin is entertainment with Noella.
Well, Noella is here. Noella, what's in the package this afternoon?
Well, GMB auditions start off tomorrow in Tamale, so we have some, information on those auditions in the bulletin this afternoon. So let's get into the entertainment news updates here on Midday Live. My name is Noella Donko. Now, it's another time of the year for the bold, beautiful, and intelligent women to step forth to own Ghana's most beautiful crown. Now, a new season is here, and you can't afford to miss this golden opportunity. Now, be part of the GMB audition train in Tamale tomorrow, Thursday, 15th of June, at the Gariba Lodge Hotel. The train then moves to Kumasi on Saturday, 17th June, at the Micklin Hotel. In Takoradi, join us on Tuesday, 20th June, at Rainbow Hotel, and the final stop will be in Accra on Friday, 23rd of June, at the TV3 premises. Now, look your best in a stylish GTP mini skirt, white tank top, and comfortable heels. Now, to be part of this year's auditions, simply register online by downloading the TV3 reality app or pick a form at the audition center for 50 Ghana cedis. This is the moment to make a statement for yourself and your region. Ghana's was beautiful, Ghana's beauty, Africa's pride. Now to some more stories that we're bringing for you. But just to remind you, tomorrow starts the audition. So if you're in Tamale, you might want to get there at 8 a.m. It's at the Gariba Lodge. And definitely make sure that you are part of the audition. Hopefully, who knows, you might be the one walking home with the crown. And that's how we wrap up on the entertainment news segment here on Midday Live. My name is Noella.
Let's now bring you some international news as more than 100 people have drowned and more are missing after a boat carrying them down the river in southwestern Nigeria capsized. A traditional local ruler said the boat capsized after it crashed into a tree. The vessel was carrying more than 300 passengers traveling from Kwara State to Niger State after a wedding ceremony. Now, the leader of the group, Ibrahim Umar Bagoli II, the traditional ruler of the area where it happened said more than 150 people had died. He told journalists that river waves overtook the boat and forced it to crash into a tree that had washed into the river, causing the boat to capsize. This is the latest boat tragedy in Nigeria, where river capsizes are common due to overloading, tax safety procedures, and heavy flooding in the rainy season. Now, still on the foreign front, Ugandan authorities say that 80 followers of a religious cult from the country's east had been deported from Ethiopia, where they traveled, believing they would find salvation through starving. The followers of Church of Christ disciples from Soroti traveled to Ethiopia in February after their pastor claimed they would find Jesus there after 40 days of fasting, said a spokesman for Uganda's internal Affairs Ministry. Authorities in Uganda were alerted to the plan by concerned residents in Soroti after the cult followers began leaving for Ethiopia. In 2000, some 700 members from the movement for the restoration of the 10 commandments of God in Uganda burned to death in one of the world's worst cult-related massacres. Well, that's our package for you this afternoon, but you could always log onto our website, 3news.com, for a lot of stories. If you visit 3 News website at the moment, you see the big story: suit against Mahama Supreme Court can't rewrite the Constitution. That is a response from Abraham Amaliba. There's also, in the Ashanti region, 3 children burned to death at Mansia. And there's, in business news, inflation rate increases marginally in May. You could also go to the Ahafo region, where the Interior Minister renews curfew imposed on Boma Township. There's also a driver whose car hit MPP chairman returning from campaign in Asen North arrested. There's a lot of stories on our website, 3news.com. Please log on for more. You can also find the latest in business, entertainment, sport, and all of that. Now, before we go, let's recap our top stories. Now, the MP for Obuakwa South, Samuel Atachia, is hopeful the Committee of Parliament tasked with probing the recent police killings at Botiano will make proposals to enhance Ghana's laws. Also, inflation for May increases marginally by 42.2%, influenced by spike in food prices. And in international news, more than 100 people drowned after boat carrying them down the river Niger in southwestern Nigeria capsized. Well, that's our package for you this afternoon. My name is Noble Crosby, and on behalf of the entire production team, thank you so much for watching the bulletin. The news team returns at 3:30 for News in Brief. After that, there's Business Brief, and the main news bulletin for the day is at 7 with News 360. Stay with us here on TV3.